Hello, YouTube! Alex Fuel here with StoryFueled Gaming, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to yet another Legends of Runeterra gameplay video for you guys today. And today's episode is all about death. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and embrace the concept of death, and using it as a resource to go ahead and overwhelm our opponents and drown them in power and drown them in value. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you an old classic, aka Thresh Nasus. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this deck is back, baby, and this deck is back with a vengeance in the current standard metagame that we are experiencing right now in the game of Legends of Runeterra. This deck is absolutely awesome. This deck is my newest iteration and or expansion upon the classic archetype built around these two champions, Thresh and Nasus. This deck is an old classic. It is a deck that I actually covered multiple times here on the channel ever since we got the Shurima expansion, aka the Empires of the Ascended expansion, and we got Nasus. Nasus is a very good card, a very powerful champion, and a champion that is absolutely bonkers in today's metagame, wherein Nasus is essentially a win condition. It is basically a more expensive or a more powerful version of They Who Endure, and we all know how good They Who Endure is, and They Who Endure is absolutely backbreaking, especially against decks that don't have any form of interaction. They Who Endure is actually a menace if left unchecked, and the same logic rather is true for Nasus, because Nasus allows us to go ahead and have a solid win condition in the mid to late stages of the match. Nasus is a 6 mana 3/3, so 3 power 3 health, but don't let that stat line fool you, because he has the fearsome keyword right here that says can only be blocked by enemies 3 or more attack, and he has the same ability as They Who Endure, because They Who Endure gains +1/+1 for each unit that has died, but unlike They Who Endure, Nasus here is quite different, because he says, I have +1/+1 for each unit you have slain this game. Unit means that it can be from your side of the board, or more importantly, the opponent's side of the board. This is absolutely backbreaking, especially against unit-based aggressive and mid-range decks as a whole. Control decks, on the other hand, are a bit of a liability for a deck like this, because control decks historically don't have many units. They only focus on a specific couple of units and then a bunch of spells to interact with the opponent. So what we are essentially doing here is we are a mid-range deck. We are a mid-range deck to the core, and this deck is built around the 5-mana champion known as Thresh. And Thresh is absolutely awesome in a deck like this. This deck was once a metagame contender, a metagame king, in fact, during the early stages and the later stages, or the latter half of the Empires of the Ascended season of Legends of Runeterra. This deck actually is absolutely insane once you get to top off with both Thresh and Nasus on the board. Usually these decks aim to finish the game with a big atrocity play. Atrocity, for those of you who don't know, is a spell card that allows you to kill an enemy, or to kill your own unit rather, to deal that much damage to the opponent. Usually, you can use that to target the opponent's health, aka their nexus, and just overwhelm the opponent and just finish them off that way. But now that we don't have atrocity right now in standard, we result, or we default rather to the Absolver as a alternate win condition in this deck. The Absolver is a very good card. It is still legal in standard, and it is absolutely backbreaking because the Absolver is a 2-mana burst speed spell from Shrina from the I believe this was part of Auction with the Sentinels of Light / Ruination expansion, and it says get an ally +2 attack +1 health this round. But if you have leveled a champion this game, you create the Absolver's Return in hand, and the Return is a 2-mana burst speed spell as well that has fleeting, so you have to activate this the turn you basically cast the Absolver. And it says here, give an ally +2 +1, so +2 attack +1 health, and more importantly, overwhelm. Overwhelm is absolutely, you know the word, overwhelming against unit-based decks, especially if you combine that with a level 2 Nasus on the board. Level 2 Nasus on the board is absolutely backbreaking because the level of requirement for Nasus is pretty easy because since we are a mid-range deck that is also a sort of a sacrifice deck as well, leveling up Nasus is actually pretty easy to accomplish in a deck like this, because once he sees you strike for 10 or more damage, Nasus levels up, and he is absolutely backbreaking because enemies have -1 power or attack, and he gains, or he still retains rather, the original +1/+1 let's just say counters for each unit that we have slain this game. Slay means that whenever you kill a unit via damage, kill effect, or striking it with an ally. Ephemeral doesn't count. Ephemeral means that you spawn something on the board and then it dies at the end of the round, but it doesn't count here. Slay means that you have to kill your unit either by damage, a kill spell, or a strike. So that is why Nasus' signature spell, Siphoning Strike, is very good in a deck like this. We don't run the Siphoning rather strike in a pure form, aka they don't have the card in the deck list proper, but we are still using that as our like backup plan. Now you may be asking, what is this deck? Well, this deck is, like I said earlier, a sacrifice-based mid-range deck. Now, what do I mean by sacrifice-based? Well, if you know the term aristocrats, which is a term used in Magic the Gathering, aristocrats is an archetype that is adept rather English on sacrificing your own units for value, and this is essentially what this deck is all about. This deck is all about sacrificing your creatures for value, aka in layman's terms, we get to embrace death and use it as a weapon. Even though, yes, death is a pretty scary thought in the doctrine, it is still quite exciting if you use death as a resource for value. So we have here a deck that is essentially a mid-range deck that has sacrifice synergy in the form of Ravenous Butcher with Cursed Keeper Ceaseless Sentry to go ahead and cycle through the deck upon death, and we have a couple of Warden's Prey as well, alongside our 1-drops are very powerful in a sacrifice style deck like this one. We have Forsaken Bakai, Bakai Reaper, also known as Bacalao, and we have, yes, the Warden's Prey in the deck as well. And we use this deck, or we use a lot of kill spells in this deck, rather English. We have a full set of Glimpse Beyond, 3 copies of Glimpse Beyond to go ahead and cycle through the deck and search for our champion pieces. We also have forms of interaction that is based on death as well, thanks to 2 copies of Black Spear, which is very good right now, especially in the current standard metagame in Legends of Runeterra. 3-mana fast speed spell that says if an ally died this round, you deal 4 damage to a unit. So, with the amount of kill spells and ways to proc sacrifice or kill, we can get to go ahead and have a spell that is essentially an interactive spell for the opponent. Because not only do we get value of our own units dying, we also get value out of our opponent's units dying, or basically succumb to the death, to go ahead and interact with the opponent. And this is what the deck is centered around ever since the introduction of Nasus in the game of Legends of Runeterra back during its prime. So many people have played a variation of Thresh Nasus in the vast majority of O10 championships, and even the world championships as well in the game of Legends of Runeterra, back in its prime, back in its heyday. But now, even still, after the change to become a player versus enemy type of game, player versus player still remains strong, and Thresh Nasus is considered by many to be a classic, an old classic that needs to be respected, that needs to be admired, that needs to be feared by the vast majority of people in the game of Legends of Runeterra. And that is why we are playing this deck right now. We have a couple of copies of Quietus. This Quietus is absolutely essential in a deck like this because we want to interact with early game units, especially early game units from aggressive decks, from aggro decks. We want to use this as our interactive spell of choice, alongside the 2 Black Spear and the 2 of Death's Grasp, which goes ahead and kills an ally to deal 5 damage, which is potentially contributing towards 2 Slay procs on our Nasus and or our Bacalao Reaper, our Bakai Reaper, aka Bacalao, in other languages. So, yeah, we have a mid-range deck that aims to win the game by using Nasus as our prime win condition, with Thresh to support it. We have health gain in the form of double Withering Whale to go ahead and take out 1 toughness creatures from the opponent if they are spread out too wide, especially against an aggro deck, and may potentially contribute towards Thresh's level up, because Thresh, we want to level up Thresh in this deck, because Thresh, once you level him up, has the ability that says the first time Thresh attacks this game, you summon another attacking champion from the deck or the hand. So basically, we want to pull out Nasus from the deck onto the battlefield using Thresh and potentially win the game from there. And speaking of interaction that kills units, we have a one-off Ride Negation. This Ride Negation is essentially, or is essential rather, English, to a deck like this, because you may be asking, why is Ride Negation very important right now? Because with the prevalence now of slower based control decks, like for instance Darkness, like for instance the Freljord Shadow Isles like control archetype, we wanna have a way to say no to any sort of removal that targets our units. Like for instance, we wanna if our Thresh gets answered or is potentially going to be answered by a removal spell, we wanna have a one-off renegation for that alongside Nasus as well. Because Nasus, once you once he is leveled up, he is impervious for one time to a removal spell. But if our opponent, or if we don't level up Nasus though English, our opponent may be able to go ahead and interact with it. That's why renegation is crucial in a list like this. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, dogs and cats, fish, that is the deck list right there. Very fun to play, a classic deck, back from the dead, and let's take it for a spin in some constructed. Yes, I know, there is no, point in playing ranked, but I wanna play ranked, and since, Riot Games are in the process of bringing back ranked again or incentives to play ranked, I think we should play ranked. I think we should play ranked today, even though we don't have any rewards at the end of the month. That's fine by me. That's okay by me. And yeah, let's jump into some games here. God, it feels so good to be playing this deck. Alright, let's do this. Here we go. Game numero uno. So, game number 1 here. And let's see who are we up against. Let's just see if it is a aggro, mid-range, or control. Uh-oh. I think I know what that is. I think that's deep. Uh-oh. Deep could be a problem. Oh boy. Let's see. Let's see if my gut is correct. We have a nice opening hand here. And yes, it is deep. Alright, so we're gonna... Honestly, I'm gonna keep everything except Thresh. Because Thresh can be good in the later stages of the game, and we get the fading icon. Wait, Withering Whale is not essential here in this scenario. Let's go ahead and play fading icon. Let's see if they drop a unit here. Yep, the dredgers. I think I'm gonna attack here. Let's see if they block. They do. So we're gonna take the trade. Excuse me. That is 2 Slate Crocs already for Nasus, which is very nice. These Withering Whales, though, are no bueno in this matchup. This Withering Whale is only essential for aggressively slanted decks. With that being said, let's go ahead and play a Ravenous Butcher. Take out the Prey. And they go for the Undergrowth. I think I'm gonna go for the Glyncion here just to mitigate the deep proc, which is gonna be really crucial here. Very nice. And then we have the Forsaken Akai. We could drop it right now. You know what? Let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and drop the Forsaken Akai. Wow. Okay. I think I'm gonna go with probably the Crest Keeper, because we do have a Death Grasp here, which is very important to take out Maokai, which is very important. Taking out Maokai is important, muy importante, very important in a matchup like this, wherein Maokai is their prime engine slash win condition. So taking out Maokai could be important. Let's see if our opponent does anything here. God, I love this deck. This deck is fantastic. I like this deck. Again, I'm gonna block, I'm gonna trade. And we are gonna call it a turn. Alright, let's play the Cursed Keeper. We have Death Grasp available. Watery Graze, okay, wow. Okay. I'll take that every day of the week. Alright, that's fine. Oh, you gotta be, wow. Okay. Okay. This guy is going all in on the mill. 34 cards left in the deck, and I do have one Thresh and one Nasus left. We're gonna pass here because we're gonna save this Death Grasp for Maokai. Okay, salvage. Alright, they're not deep yet. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take this damage, and we're gonna play Thresh. We're gonna play Thresh, effective immediately. Call it a turn. And then, we go ahead and go for an open attack here. Very good. Let's see if our opponent has a vengeance. No, salvage. If that's the case, I think I'm gonna drop the hammer on the Death Grasp here. Lure of the Death, so boy. Oh boy. Alright. Okay, let's see. Well, let's go ahead and do that. Beautiful. And Thresh is down to 1 health. That's A-okay by me. That's fine by me. We're gonna call that a turn. It's over. And this is where Nautilus may come down. Nope, it's the Jaw Hunters. Alright, let's go ahead and drop a Cursed Keeper. And this Withering Whale, oh boy. This Withering Whale is amazing here. We're gonna pass. Let's see if they do that. Yeah, we're gonna go for Withering Whale. Effective immediately. Because we wanna keep Thresh alive. And we're gonna play a Warden's Prey here. And we are gonna call it a turn. Links Beyond, we are almost there to leveling out our boy here, our Thresh. Let's see if... Okay, Joe, Lure of the Deaths. He's filling his hand with sea monsters. I don't know if the Lure of the Deaths is legal right now in Standard. Alright, let's go ahead and do that. Blood's Butcher and Death's Grasp. Sweet! We're almost there to leveling up Thresh. Very nice. Ho 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 ho. Oh boy. Okay, he's committing too much to the board. Alright, let's go with the Conductor of the Hallowed. then go for the Dragon Splitcher, and then go for the Death Grasp. Alright, let's go ahead and do this. Sacrifice this guy for the greater good, and let's kill Maokai while we're at it. Let's kill Maokai while we're at it. Boink, boink. That's 2 Slate Rocks for Nasus. Alright, here we go. Yeah, let's do this. In Thresh we trust. And now we go in, boys. We go in. No. You know what? We go in. Blink. And I think that's good enough. Come forth, my friend. Ha 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 ha. 14-14 Nasus. Just a casual 14-14. Ha 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 ha. It feels so good. Very nice. Right? The wheel never stops turning. Yeah. Let's go. Alright. Now it's a race. Now it's a race to see if we can beat Nautilus. 1 card left in the deck for the opponent. Okay, there he is. There's Nautilus. As expected. Very good card, very powerful card at that. Let's go with the Corsican Bakai. And we're gonna block here and go for the Withering Whale. That's why we keep the Withering Whale here, ladies and gentlemen. Ha 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 ha. Even in situations like this, we need to have Withering Whale available to keep us alive. And my opponent only has 2 cards left in deck, so let's go ahead and attack. And we keep the Absolver in the back to go ahead and overwhelm this opponent. Alright, that's why we keep the Absolvers, ladies and gentlemen, for the overwhelm. And since this guy has Stealth Shield, we are not afraid of a vengeance. Ho 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 ho! Got him! Easy! That was easy. Ha 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 ha! That's why I keep the Assaulter in the opening hand! Let's go! Yes! Beautiful! Beautifully executed. That's why I kept the Assaulter in the opening hand! Ha 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 ha! Got him! That is why you need the Assaulter, especially for a matchup like that. Because in a matchup like that, against Deep, you need that sort of late game burst, and the Assaulter did that and more. Heh 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 heh. Got him! Absolutely beautiful. Oh, that was a close game though. We're gonna go for one last game and that should be it. God, I love this deck. This deck is absolutely amazing, man. Especially with the inclusion of the Absolver in place of Atrocity, because Atrocity is not legal in Standard. Yeah. Absolver is legit. Absolver is freaking legit. Wow. That was one of, if not the most amazing games I have ever recorded for YouTube. Holy mackerel. That's why you keep your soldier in the opening hand. Ha ha ha. OTK boys, OTK. Conquering the world of Runeterra, one death at a time. Ha 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 ha. I don't read you like a book. Oh wow, deep again? Well, we're just gonna run it back. And this time they have a decent opening hand. We're gonna keep it. Turn to Curse Keeper. Keep the mana in the back for potential vengeance. And the turn one for Forsaken Akai is fantastic here. I think I want another Curse Keeper. Jettison, okay. Early toss. He does play Ruination. Good to know. He does play Ruination. I believe he some variants of Deep that I know of run at least one copy of Ruination. There's the Dredgers. And we're gonna play Curse Keeper on Curse. On the block, thank you very much. Arigato gozaimasu. And we are gonna call that a turn. We're gonna attack here, I believe. Yes, we are. Get some more damage in there. There's the Dreadbloom Wanderer. We're gonna go ahead and go through the Glimpse Beyond. Go ahead and cycle through the deck. A Kai Reaper and Fading Icon, that's nice. We're gonna play the Bacalao here and call it a turn. There's the Absolver, our MVP last game. Oh man. There's the Ceaseless Sentry. We're gonna go ahead and play Fading Icon here. Another Ceaseless Sentry. I think this is a good time as any to go ahead and kill off the Ceaseless Sentry here. To go ahead and get a blocker out of the way. And we'll block with the Abomination here. Cut out Bacalao, and we are gonna call that a turn. Dragon Splitcher is nice. Let's play that. Let's play Dragon Splitcher here to count out Bacalao even more. Yeah. Okay, so let's go for a Black Spear here, I believe. Yes. Yeah. We're gonna go ahead and cut out Bacalao here. And we're just gonna attack with everybody except the Forsaken Bacalao here. And we output 6 points of damage onto the opponent. And we are gonna call that a turn. Carry over the spell mana. And there's my boy. There's Thresh. Very nice. Let's play Thresh. And keep the mana open for a potential Black Spear, which my opponent could have. He did see the opponent saw my previous iteration or my previous match. He should have known the existence of Black Spear. I think we're gonna go ahead and turbo speed up Thresh develop by a lot. Very nice. We are 4 out of 6 already, which is absolutely fantastic. And call that a turn we shall. There's the deep. Alright, let's go ahead and attack here. Kill out the vengeance. There it is. I cry every time. That's fine. That's okay. Because we still have a vengeance of our own. Play a Crest Keeper. And we are gonna call that a turn. There's the Warden's Tray. And good thing we have this vengeance saved up for a potential Nautilus. There it is. Like I mentioned earlier. Wow. There it is. Let's wait for his attack. We block, and then we go for the vengeance. This variant of Deep doesn't run Glimpse Beyond, so we're gonna do that, and we're gonna play Warden's Tray. Call the turn. Some variants of Deep also run Withering Whale, so we gotta take that into account. Let's think here for a second. I think I'm gonna play for a second the Kai here first, just to see what our opponent will do. We could draw into a Ruination, which could be a problem.
These isles will be cleansed. Life starts small.
Uh-oh, what? Well, we're kinda screwed here. Wow.
I wanna go home.
Oh yeah, I forgot. This thing cannot block. Whoops. Well, we're kinda screwed here. Wow. Oh man. Well, we're dead here. I think he got me. GG. Well, that's okay. We tried our best, but he got me. He got me good. And I accept defeat. So overall, what do I think about Thresh Nasus? Thresh Nasus is absolutely fantastic, especially against those long drag out matches. Yes, Deet got the nut draw. Yes, Deet got Deet first, but aside from that, this deck is fantastic. I highly recommend playing a version of this in standard ranked if you have the time. This deck is absolutely fantastic, and I highly encourage you guys to go ahead and check it out because it is a very powerful deck. So that is gonna do it. That will do it rather for today's session. Thank you all so much for watching. If you did enjoy it, don't hesitate to drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel if you hadn't done so already. And that's all I gotta say. If you like the content, consider following me on Twitch. Link is down below in the description. And if you would like to support the channel, don't hesitate to buy my digital products over at Payhit. Link to that is down below in the description. Payhit.com/pixel of praise. Again, link to that is down below in the description. Alright, that's all I gotta say. Have yourselves a fantastic day, and above all else, stay safe. May the Lord God above bless you. And I will catch you amigos later. This is Alex Fuel from StoryFuel, signing out. Stay safe, have a good one. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye. Adios amigos. See you soon.